Yeah, some people like me are just destined to fuck up everything that we mess with. If I was made as a joke, I don't get it. Missed the call, but I guess I got the message. Usually I fall too hard, I'm addicted to pain. And if the world's on fire, I'll be swimming in flames, yeah. Cause I'm too impatient to wait for change. I know I'm far from perfect, oh yeah. But I know I can make it work, I know I can make it work. I'm crazy, everybody knows my name, but I don't even know my name. Going insane, pulling heavy on my brain, and I don't even know my name. It's a story about an ID crisis. Used to think my only future was the night shift. Brain on ADHD, autopilot. And through it all somehow I kept smiling. I can never find the right words to say. Only a handful of family ever sees my face. But I'm only human, don't we all make mistakes? I'm drowning in my head again, and my thoughts don't want me to win. They show compassion made of plastic, and I don't wanna be another tragedy, but I'd rather be dead than a skeleton dreaming about the things that he couldn't be. Cause I'm too impatient to wait for dreams.
Welcome to the Boise State Esports Arena. Tonight we're broadcasting Rocket League Esports Tower Rumble, the final week of the group stages in the Esports Tower Summer Invitational. The teams have had some fantastic games so far and are looking to claim the final title of the Invitational in the next few weeks. I'm your host, Jacob Jem Palmer, joined by our old friend, we've got Joe Tacky Jigbrow here, calling all of the action for us tonight. And so now this is the last chance for any of these teams to make a major statement to try to really secure their spot in the bracketed stage going forward. From here on out, after tonight, it's going to be all championship matches. So what teams do you see are poised for making the best moves?
I think at the end of the day, what we've seen the most from Esports Towers, it's kind of up in the air to an extent. Any team pops off consistently. But I think any team that we see that kind of I'm forgetting all the names, but any team where we see that power trio of Good Baby, I believe, Protato, and
I believe that's the Scorpions, if I'm not mistaken. We have the four teams right here: the Scorpions, Barracudas, Vipers, and Lynxes going to be competing. Remember, for the Summer Invitational, all of these teams were hand-selected to have the best rosters to be able to compete and be able to face off in very competitive matches. So, as we get ready to start our first match, we want to remind our friends on Twitch to support your team, celebrate their successes, but be respectful to other fans. Mods will remove anyone who violates chat rules. Let's take a look at our player lineups for the first match. It's going to be Lynx versus Vipers. Let's see the lineups here. We see Thrift, Drift Lemming, and Wilds for the Lynx, and for the Vipers, we're going to see Tokay, Enzo. Tokay, Enzo, and Doc's keys to the game, apparently, in Rocket League, and that's going to be to create mistakes, punish the overcommits, play off the walls better, and demo to disrupt the other team. It's brought to you by Esports Tower. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, and improve your performance under pressure. You'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. Well, we're just about ready to head into our first map. Remember, all the games are going to be best of 5, and we start the night with the Lynx and Vipers facing off in round 1 of the group stage. Who will start off the night with a win? We're going to have to see. Lynx, definitely a team that certainly has some of the most fan favorites, a fan favorite that everyone loves to cheer on, especially if they're going to make plays like that and just start things off with a goal. It's no wonder they've got people cheering them on.
Not entirely sure how long that took. Lynx are a goal up right now. Our display is a tiny bit behind, I think, but Wilds is leading the charge, trying to extend that goal once more, but unable to do so far as the pass is away. So Tokay has time, takes it off the ball, passes to a teammate. Intercepted by a Drift, however, will push Enzo to have to make the banging clear upfield. Thrift has to pop it down. Tokay is there to respond, and the Drift just takes it toward the wall. Buying a little time for his team. Maybe a bit looks for a solo play, but ultimately does not connect properly and is only able to get past one.
Griff trying to find the centering is going to play up above 2 as a lot of members of the Vipers seem to be bunched up and just on their back foot while the Lynx just keep peppering shots on goal towards them. No clear thus far to come out onto either team. It looked like Tokay got demoed there, helping clear it up for Thrift to get his goal.
2 goals now on the side of the Lynx. Vipers have their work cut out for them, but definitely so much time left in this game and so much offense on the side of the Vipers. They can do it for sure. Wilds, however, is looking to put another nail in that coffin, tries to push past Enzo, but does not find success. Zydra, looking for a solo play of his own, ends up passing it to Tokay, who is unable to connect. Adrift has some time, banks it downfield, is intercepted by Enzo, but Wilds is there. The bump from Tokay gives him a little bit more time, maybe a miscommunication from the Lynx, 2 players in the midfield, and now a pass could leave an opportunity for Zydra, but it is just barely pinched out. Now Enzo has to pick up the scraps.
Ball is high and heads over to the right side of the field. Just off the near post, but it's plenty of time for the Lynx to just move up as a unit on the field and try to score a goal for themselves. Tokay is going to put a stop to that, leave it for Enzo. So it heads up to the near corner, but it gets demoed, leaving the Lynx wide open for this goal here. Adrift is going to try to go up against Enzo, who beats him to the ball and is able to get the save. But overall, it's been all pressure from the Lynx.
Tokay looking for an opportunity. Oh, and ultimately Enzo comes out from above and gets the tap in. Good pressure from the Vipers will put them in a position where now they're only down by 1 goal. Definitely time left in the game. Thrift is looking to regain that 2-goal lead, however, though, passes it down. Wilds keeping the pressure on again, like you said, Jem. The Lynx are all over the offensive half of the field right now. They're able to keep pressure for extended periods of time. What it's going to take is the Vipers finding a way to break it down early, break it down in that midfield, and find a way to find each other.
And so Wilds is going to beat Enzo, and that's just, wow, from midfield, in fact. Looks like they had one too many members rotated up a little bit too far on the field, so couldn't defend from back post, and the Vipers going to be punished for that, making the Lynx have a little bit more of a lead, a 1-goal lead, almost a 2-goal lead, but Zydra finds the save. He's going to play it up to the midfield. It heads over toward Enzo, but Adrift beats him to it. Off of the corner, Wilds to the shot on goal, so beautifully played and executed. Perfect aim and perfect teamwork.
4 goals on the side of the Lynx. Now our display is still a little bit behind, but definitely no matter 3 or 4 goals on the side of the Lynx, the Vipers have so much catching up to do with only less than half the time of the game left on the clock. They need to make a change, and they need to make it quick. Adrift not willing to give up ground. Toke is able to finally get it out, though, and over Thrift, so now Wilds has to play defense. Enzo does get beat out. Toke looks for the shot, almost pinches it in, and Adrift is there to help it out, but no, Zydra is in the way. The pressure's still on. Thrift gets the pass over to Wilds, who does not connect properly. Enzo has time to take it up the wall now and look for an escape plan. Does get past one, keeps it to himself, trying to play past one more, but does not get past Wilds. He stays cool and collected, sitting in front of his net.
Thrift with the breakaway play here is just going to pass it over to Wilds and casually get their 5th goal of the game.
Vipers.
It's also a hat trick for Wilds as well.
Oh, it is. You're right. Vipers are now in a position where this game might start to look a little bit more doomed, but you can't give up quite yet. We've seen crazier comebacks, but at this point in the game, unless you're planning on making some big change, you just have to let it go, think about the next game, and just try to play the best Rocket League you can. Try to find that one last goal before this game is up to give yourself a little bit more pressure heading into game 2. Here we could see something just like that. Okay.
And I believe that was the same situation the Lynx found themselves in that last goal. Every time they've been scored, it's been them rotating a little bit too far up the field. The Vipers can't get too confident about that because they've also let a few goals in that way. So overall positioning on the field looks like it could be the major improvement for both teams.
Aggressive midfield positioning seems to be the nail in the coffin for both teams here. At least 3 of the 7 goals scored this game were from midfield overcommits. That was just a good play, however. A good demo and good connection on the shot. It will lead to an open net that the Lynx can punish, but at this point, something has to change for both teams, because if they can't lock down their defense just like this, the Vipers are just as in it as the Lynx have been.
Kickoff almost looked like it went in favor of Thrift there, but a rebound off of the Vipers puts them in prime scoring position. The Drift is just going to put an end to that right away. Ball goes high up toward midfield, off the backboard, actually over toward the far post and corner, where Enzo tries to browse it over to Toke for the clear. They're going to be able to play past one and drive it back into Lynx territory. Now the centering denied from Adrift with the pass to Thrift in mid. Going to head back toward the Lynx own goal. That was a crucial moment for them to reposition and be able to defend their goal, not get too aggressive, because once they save, now they have the side control.
Drift, the pop over to Wilds. The redirect is not quite there. Zydra has a little bit of time. Only 10 seconds left on the clock. Adrift takes the shot. Enzo up in the way, but Thrift is able to block it a little bit longer. The tap out from Wilds, almost able to find the back of the net, and that will call time. A 6-3 win for the Lynx, scoring double what their opponent scored in that game. And I'd have to say, a 9-goal game, that's an entirely dominantly offensive game. Almost no defense played from both teams.
Yeah, that's the major thing, is that I think the teams both have too much of an all-in. Maybe with the Vipers, it's more of a we have to tie, we have to try to get goals. And for the Lynx, it's just we're already on a roll. And so let's try to get even more. But whatever the mindset is for both players, they definitely do seem to be forgetting the need to have someone back there on defense, hanging out on back post, and also the need for that defensive player to just call out when they're going to go in so someone else can rotate back up. So overall, I see some really great talented individual play. It's just the team dynamics are a little bit sloppy.
Yeah, I have to agree there. I think it's important in games like this to stress what the role of the third man is in those situations. He's not trying to be offensive and be in the way. He can play up a little bit, but third man is always that worst case scenario guy. Sometimes he's playing back row, sometimes he's playing midfield, but he's worst case scenario, and oftentimes his biggest role is just to diffuse bad situations. And if you don't diffuse those bad situations, we see games just like that last one where every goal that's put on net pretty much goes in.
Yeah, no diffusing at all, and the game just becomes a powder keg of goals being scored left and right. So now we head into the second game with Lynx having the slight advantage, going to be looking to push it toward match point for them. Kickoff doesn't go in favor of either team in favor, but Wild's heading back just a little bit to get control off that kickoff. Is now going to get side control for the Lynx. Bounce off the backboard. Follow-up is just off the crossbar now. A very explosive opening from the Lynx. Not uncharacteristic of their last games. Wild sees his opening and scores on the open goal.
No one in the way for the Vipers. Looked like they committed one player to the wall and one player on the same side to the big boost. No one back will lead to an easy goal for the Wild, just like we talked about. Now, Thrift passing it up, maybe looking for his teammate in Wild, but is unable to do anything. They've tried these redirect plays about 2 or 3 times now and haven't connected quite yet. Curious to see if they can turn that into some goals later on, but Wild's playing a little defense. A weird rotation through his teammates there from one of the Lynx players. Now Thrift passes down. Wilds gets one more tap out mid, and that will pretty much defuse as Zydra hits it out.
Okay, and Zydra also just kind of fun. I mean, basically what you saw there, all 3 members of the Vipers were not even in the same half of the field, the same quadrant of the field.
Yeah, a defensive mistake to say the least. I mean, you can get away with plays like that as long as someone makes a good touch, but no one even made contact, and the Lynx hopped on it immediately. I have to imagine that will change if the Vipers can find a way to get their defense going, and suddenly the Lynx won't be prepared for it. But right now, it's all the Lynx game. They're playing more consistent offense, and they're just getting rewarded for it.
Enzo's not going to find the clear. Here's watching, and Z Hydra tries to get it. Unsuccessful a second time. Drift is now going to be looking to air dribble this toward the goal, maybe try to waterfall it down. Not going to find it there, but the Lynx have been pretty much dominant this entire game. Only one shot on goal for the Vipers. Maybe they can turn it on to some more. If they get it past the midfield marker, the Lynx are going to try to defend. Drift has been the key defensive player. It does look like he has kind of been the designated third man, as you said, to be able to keep things from spiraling out of control.
Enzo and Zydra working together to find their way out. Wilds trying to keep pressure. This is the second time now Wilds and Thrift have run head-on into each other, with one rotating back and one pushing up. You have to think that communication needs to be more necessary in those situations to stay out of each other's way. Zydra pounces, finds the backboard here. Maybe Toge with the shot, unable to get it and unable to connect there with Zydra, I believe, either. And now just trying to keep pressure a little bit longer before the Lynx run away with it again. Ooh, a bad backboard pass from his own team, but barely popped out by a Drift will defuse this bad situation. And now the Lynx are back onto offense where we know they prosper the most.
Drift rotating back. Wilds was hanging back there, and gets in the way of the potential clear. It's not a play you're going to want to see in the replay bracket. Let's just forget that happened and instead focus on the open. The goal was completely open there. Okay, two plays in a row. Let's just forget that even happened and keep rolling on here because we have 2 minutes left in this match. Lynx still lead 2-0.
Thrift and Wild, specifically, those 2 players have been in each other's way at the midfield line 3 times this game. Twice they hit each other head on, and the other time they literally passed it between each other and didn't go anywhere. They have to get that communication out. That midfield communication is going to make all the difference if the Vipers suddenly start to figure out how to play defense against this Lynx team. It's a very powerful offense, but if they can make it work, it works. And finally, as I spoke of earlier, they made the redirect play work all the way off the backboard, finds the negative angle into the top corner. Very hard to save. Oh, and an open net here, maybe. Thrift forces it down, and it doesn't quite tip in. Unlucky, but no one responds, so Wild scoops it up anyway. And yeah, the rotations and the communication aren't really there from the Lynx, but it doesn't really matter. The Lynx are playing a more consistent game of Rocket League and finding the open net a lot more often than the Vipers are right now.
Well, they might have some rotation issues, but it's important to remember, we've seen some double commits from the Vipers trying to save, so both of kind of the oopsies in that scenario are just canceling each other out. And the Viper and Lynx just kind of being the more consistent team with more shots on goal, now up to 12 spread between all of them to just the Vipers 2. That just works out to a huge lead that the Lynx are looking to secure as long as they don't get too careless. And this shouldn't be a situation where they're rotating up too aggressively. That shouldn't be excusable when you have a 4-goal lead.
Enzo looking for a solo play, gets the flip reset, goes for the backboard, but ends up just passing it to Thrift. Not quite able to do anything with that. Thrift takes the long shot downfield. Zytra will be there to slow down the play a little bit, but does end up just popping it up to a pre-jumped Lynx player, who then gets the pass out mid, but Zytra is again deflecting it out. He is being that big wall on the backboard right now, finding ways to keep the Lynx out, but at this point it's a little too late. 30 seconds left on the clock. It feels bad already in game 1 to have to start thinking about game 2 because game 1 just went so bad. It feels even worse to be like, all right, we got to start thinking about game 3. There's no way in 16 seconds we score 4 goals here.
Zydra's going to score 1 at least, but it takes such a bad spike off of the ground that it kills all the ball's momentum before it can even be counted as a shot on goal. 5 seconds left, and it's much in the favor of the Lynx. They're just going to let the ball roll a little bit, let the game end, and get their second victory on toward match point. The interesting thing is that the coaches say on an individual level, no one has been working harder than the Vipers to try to improve during this event. So they might be, trying to drill things out in the practice arena, make sure their shots are good, but whatever they need to work together as a team in the actual game just seems to be evading them so far.
Yeah, I can't speak exactly to what they have been doing in their spare time, but it could be a symptom of how they've been practicing. If they've been practicing with a lot of 1v1s or 2v2s or specifically just with mechanical stuff, you're not really getting that team element that's important. That being said, they could be practicing that team element, and this could be a much better Vipers than we would have seen weeks before. However, the problem for this specific match, when all that matters really in terms of going up is performance, something has to change in the communication and the ability to connect with the ball.
Well, as my dad often says, sometimes you shoot it great on the driving range, but when you get out on the course, it just isn't the same. Hopefully for the Vipers, though, they can turn things around in this third match. They're going to have to pull off a reverse sweep from here on out. We'll see if they can do this as we head into game number 3 of this best-of-5 match. It is the final week of group stages in the Esports Towers Summer Invitational, so we're going to have to see if any team is going to be going into a really great standout appearance and a good position in the brackets before we make our way into the grand finals. Round number 3 coming up right now. Who is going to win? Are the Lynx going to get a complete clean sweep, a 3-0? Will the Vipers start a reverse sweep? We're going to find out right now as the first kickoff. Looks like it's in favor of the Vipers.
Enzo up, keeps it on their side a little bit longer. Thrift is able to push it out. A push towards the wall, we'll give it to Wiles, passes back to Thrift. Some good communication at the midfield, 3-point pass, just to keep possession a little bit longer. Definitely what we'd like to see from the Lynx. The Vipers, they're stuck in a really particularly difficult situation right now, having a reverse sweep. But at the end of the day, I don't know if there's any other team that's more qualified in this specific match. The Lynx keeping the pressure a little bit longer. Enzo has to pass out the Toke. Wilds leaves it out for his teammate Adrift. He gets the bang downfield. Pass to no one. Enzo is able to tap it away, but only to a Lynx offender. And now Wilds taps it up. Buys a little bit of time. 2 defenders up. This is an open net.
Yep.
Oh, the miscommunication from the Vipers. 2 players up. That'll be all it takes. If you don't get the perfect touch on that double commit, it's doomed. And even if you do, it's probably doomed.
Off the kickoff, Enzo trying to even it up, but just a very odd shot there also. I think I saw the opportunity there, but it just took a really odd bounce up and to the right. That gives the Lynx enough time to clear, get back the side control from which they have been so dominant. Thrift to elevate up. The pass to Enzo is also a little screwy though, so it doesn't go through. Zydra has to keep the play going by rotating in. Now Adrift is going to be passing to Wiles. Actually, Wiles rotating in front of him. Now gets the tap that he wanted. But overall, seeing kind of the similar scenario of some of these rotations are just a bit too shaky.
Okay, pass out mid to Zydra. Unable to do anything else with it. Adrift is up, plays it for a little bit of time, misses the tap off the wall. Might have given a little bit of extra time to the Vipers. Yep, Toke is able to get it out over to Enzo. Now looking for a play. Only has to get past one defender or look for the pass, but finds neither of those opportunities. And now Adrift is able to play it out. The shot from Wilds is a little wide, unable to do anything else with it. Rift gets the bang off the backboard. It doesn't look like anyone will be able to respond though, as we just have to stall. Luckily, Zydra doesn't make immediate contact and has plenty of time to rotate back. The pinch off the wall will lead to an excellent opportunity for Adrift. Is unable to make the perfect shot. Now is unable to do anything else with it either.
Okay to try to center it, but it's stopped by the Lynx. Passed over Wilds, back to Thrift. Thrift takes it away from him. Now they're going to drive around the corner where I thought Thrift was waiting, but it's going to be Wilds instead who gets the precision dunk onto the Lynx. From the Lynx, I should say, onto the Vipers, pushing them to a 2-goal lead again.
This is definitely not as disastrous as we've seen in the other 2 games for the Vipers. The defense has been a little bit better, but it still has had these really hard to watch moments. Or, oh, that was a crazy redirect. That was a well-earned goal. I wish we had replay on that. That redirect, he waterfalled it down for his teammate off the backboard. An insane play from the Lynx. But yeah, like I was saying, the Vipers are just not quite able to get the Lynx out of their end. And it's just not going to work out this time around if they don't make such change really soon.
Ooh, that's a pretty nice shot, and redirect from Adrift to keep it heading up the field. Drift to get the shot off the crossbar. Follow-up blocked by Enzo. Drift is going to corral it in the corner. Zydra beats him to it. Also hear Demo be brought out onto the field. See if the Lynx can respond well enough. It looks like it went on to Enzo. So it puts a bit of a damper on the Vipers' initial aggression here. But can they get the other goal? They're going to try, but Adrift gets the precious few seconds he needs to get the clear back over to Wild. Can Adrift get the goal here? It's going to bounce off the backboard and doesn't quite look like it.
Drift looking for a play off the ball, trying to just keep pressure. He has no one to pass to, so it does just roll over to Toke, but Toke doesn't get that great of a touch. It just plays out to the Lynx hands anyway. They have plenty of time. Just 3 players on the front post trying to make a play there, but they do barely get it out in time. Thrift barely missing the open net. Just kind of craziness in front of the Vipers net right now, as everyone's just kind of flinging themselves at another player of the ball. And as the clock winds down, Vipers not looking so strong in this game. Oh yeah, they scored goals in the first game, so they're not completely held scoreless.
Yeah, they got a few, but in the game that most matters, it's going to basically be scoreless for them. It's even on the Lynx there, you see a double commit trying to get the goal. Everyone is just in a bunch ball mentality. Only 20 seconds left, though. It's not really going to matter, as even in the best of gameplay, 3 goals in 20 seconds would be a lot to ask. Impossible at 10 seconds, which we've just crossed over. And I think that is the end of this match. Lynx take the first victory of tonight's group stages. If things go well for them as the night plays out, they could be looking at a pretty good spot in the bracketed stage. So congratulations to the Lynx for getting that first victory, a complete 3-0 shutout. Well, you know, Taki, going at it alone can only get you so far. Ultimately, if you want to increase your chances of success, you have to level up your teaming skills. I mean, what were we talking about for the whole game there? The rotations, working together as a team. It's a 3-player game, and you got to work well together. And to work well together, you got to contact Esports Tower, because they take the time to create teams of well-matched teammates. I'd also like to do a shout-out to Coach Jake, and for those of you watching who haven't checked out Esports Tower clubs, you should. It's the fast track to rank up. Well, the Lynx take down the Vipers to start off the night for the win, but they're going to have another match right after this break going up against the Barracudas. So overall, do you think, as we go forward, do you think the Lynx can overall kind of clear up some of the miscommunication that we saw in that game, or are the Barracudas going to punish them for it?
Honestly, I'm not sure, because I don't really know what we're looking at with the Barracudas. Like, every team has their on and off days, right? So I'm not totally sure what to expect from the Barracudas. If it's normal Barracudas, I expect there to be a lot of punish mistakes from the Lynx we see right now. But I think it's definitely possible to wrap it up. We just have to see if they have enough time and enough energy to make those changes.
All right, well, we'll be back with the second match of the night, Lynx versus Barracudas. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll be back with more Esports Tower.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Protecting your customer journey from fraud is critical. According to industry analysts, Count's AI-driven platform is the leading solution. From account login to digital payments, Count is recognized for both its customer impact and technology excellence. Learn more at count.com.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your Guard adventure.
Welcome back to this week's broadcast of the Esports Tower Rumble in Rocket League, broadcasting from the Boise State Esports Arena. The Lynx kicked off the night with a win over the Vipers. Can they keep up their momentum in our second game against the Barracudas? We're going to find out really shortly here. I'm still your host, Jacob Jem Palmer, joined by Joe Tacky Chickbrow to call all of the action for you tonight. And before we actually get to this game here, Tacky, we just want to take a moment to congratulate all of the Esports Tower club members who have graduated from their clubs and been offered scholarships across the country, because over the last 3 months, Esports Tower club members have received over $1.6 million in scholarship awards in Rocket League alone. Actually, $1.7 million. Overall, it's over $3.1 million. And these students have not only worked hard in their in-game play, but hard academically and earned these scholarship opportunities. They are hardworking, talented, and driven, and we could not be more excited and proud to see all the opportunities these players are getting. So before we get into the night, you were saying you don't quite know what the Barracudas have to be drawing, but what they have is actually some big names from Esports Tower. Quez and Greed, certainly audience I don't know who the audience would cheer for, the virtual audience here, because both these teams are kind of the favorites in who they like to cheer for. And of course, not to count out the great talent by Crayon. So we were overall talking about what the Lynx can do, because even though they won that last round, there were some things that they need to clear up. What are kind of the key takeaways, your keys to the game?
I think coordination is everything. Taking the communication, if you are communicating with your team in call, but also taking that information and hearing it as well and processing what to do with that information. It can be really hard in Rocket League. There's not a lot of downtime, if at all, to be honest, especially at the highest level of play or the higher levels of play, which is what we're seeing today. It's a very fast-paced game, but taking what you're hearing and the information that you see in front of you and coordinating it with how you rotate around the field is super important.
Well, that isn't all the keys to the game that we have. We also have Doc's keys to the game, and that's to create mistakes, punish overcommits, play off the walls better, and demo to disrupt. It's brought to you by esportstower.com. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, and improve your performance under pressure. You'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. Lynx are looking to continue on their hot start in the group stage as they take on the Barracudas. The Barracudas are coming off of a title in last week's Grand Finals over the Lynx, so this is the team they've already beaten. Lynx looking to pull off some revenge, so who will be able to say that they're the top team in their final chance in the Summer Invitational to make a statement? Let's find out right now.
Kickoff in favor of the Lynx, starting off with that pressure that we saw in the first game. Quez flying up a little bit, is unable to keep too much pressure. Adrift breaks through, finds the backboard. Cran passes it up. Quez might be in the way, so is Wilds. It goes out to Wild, pass off the wall, maybe shoots it himself. Instead, Greed will cut in. Drift takes the wide shot and is deflected again by Barracuda's defense. Looking very solid right now. Wilds with the ceiling shot attempt is blocked by Cran, so Thrift passes it off the wall. Adrift around one. Adrift looking for the play down and is unable to do anything else with it. Now Cran looking for a pass off the back wall. Takes it to himself, gives it to Quez, but is beat inevitably by Thrift. And now the pressure remains on the side of the Lynx as they push once further into the blue end.
Reed is able to stop that ball right in his tracks, but not find a clear. It's going to be up to Crayon. It's going to be a high shot off toward midfield. Wild answers it back. The ball is very slow toward the goal. Plenty of time for the Barracudas to save that. Again, another shot on goal is attempted by the Lynx. Wilds pushes it to midfield, back to where Greed is. Crayon is just going to slow play this, actually. Wait for Greed to make his play, then let Quez come in, try to make something of this. They are able to drive it upfield, maybe the centering and the shot, but it's not going to be found. The score remains tied 0-0.
Greed taps it out to his corner. Adrift will take it and takes the shot of his own, but it is wide. Thrift is there for the safety. Gets his own tap, playing it slow, but Greed is in the way. Drift keeps pressure a little longer. Cran finds a way past one, takes it from Greed, playing past two now. Converts the pressure entirely in the favor of the Barracudas, and now the Barracudas have chances at offense here. Quez with the pass out to Greed, a great pass intercepted by the Lynx defense, will push it out a little further, and now the pressure is in favor of the Lynx again. Some communication issues or coordination issues at the midfield made it so that it was free for the Barracudas again, allowing them to keep pressure a little longer, maybe find another opportunity here, but the Lynx defense is holding strong so far.
Greed to take the clear with the pass over to Quez, beautifully done, and now Crayon with the follow-up just above the goal, and a demo in the goal to try to clear it out. Follow-up is blocked by the Lynx. Barracuda's trying again, though. Quez around the corner. It's going to meet a drift. Rita's actually just going to move in to steal the boost away. The clear is found by the Lynx. Crayon was waiting back near the goal. Push it off to the side, and Quez is going to beat the Lynx to the ball before they can shoot on goal. And still a lot of back and forth, but no goal for either team quite yet.
Thrift first hitting back, taking his time. Wilds has a little bit of time in here in the corner. Maybe looks for a flick past Quez, sees the defenders, takes the flick, but Quez is in the way. Adrift playing it in the corner, looking for a pass out to Thrift, maybe does get past one, but Greed is still there. Greed with the bang downfield. Wilds just has to hit it away. Does manage to get past one, looking for a second touch. Pops it out to Adrift. Adrift's met with Quez, who does beat him out. Thrift, the safety is there, however, finds the backboard. Nobody there to take the shot, so Quez will pass back out, but Wilds is already there, reads the play beautifully, and now The Barracuda's defense slowly falling apart. A little bit of a double commit there. Wilds finds the shot into the far corner, the one open spot in the net, and it slips in barely as it curves up off the wall. Now, for the first time in this game, we have a Lynx lead into the Barracudas, the first goal of the series.
There was so much consistent pressure on toward the Barracudas that it seemed like it was only a matter of time, as they just weren't. Just only a matter of time before one went in, but right now Greed and Quezard are going to push it up the field, and Quez leaving it to Crayon, finds the equalizing shot very quickly. That was what they needed to find what I was talking about.
The Barracudas say, we're not done with this game yet. At a minute left on the clock, and we are back to our scoreless scoreline, essentially. 1-1, complicated as Nerdy Bird would call it. Greed with the pass out, Thrift takes the shot, Fran is in the way. Unable to find it quite yet. Adrift pass it off the wall, maybe to Wilds, but just can't do too much with it. Ends up leaving it for Adrift anyway. Maybe a little bit of a double commit there. Thrift takes his time off the wall, same wall as before. Greed passes it out mid. Cran does stall for a little bit longer, but it will go in favor of Wilds. The fight at the midfield, the fight over who's going to get pressure in these last 30 seconds could be huge. Adrift looks like he wins it out, does find pressure into the back corner. Wilds takes the shot, but it's off the crossbar, and now no offense converts at all for either team.
15 seconds left before we head toward an overtime. One team could find a buzzer beater, and Quest almost plays around all three of them, leaves it for Greed, and a great shot on goal, but it is deflected by two of the Lynxes. Shot again, it's just Greed is going to be forced. The shot goes wide off into the corner. Quez is going to let the ball be grounded rather than give the Lynx a chance to score. So now we're into overtime. One goal, all that's needed for the team to get their first win.
Wilds tapped off the backboard, pressure in favor of the Lynx in the first minute of overtime. Two players for the Barracudas on the backboard. Could be an opportunity here for a drift. Does slow play it. It is bumped, so Greed is able to get it out. Only passes it over to Wilds, who does take the pass out mid, but now Quez does cut it down just in time. Oh, he pitches it back towards his own end. This is a disaster. Cran barely able to get in the way, but now Drift has time to get in the way as well. The battle for midfield happening once again. Both teams fighting for that early pressure, trying to find the easy goal and go to game two, but they're unable to do it. Thrift taking off the corner in his own wall. Plays it a little slow, leaves it for a Drift, who does pass out mid. Wilds not quite there. Quez does get cut off by the Lynx defense. And now plays it a little slow. Quez does break out for a moment. Cran into the corner. Not quite there yet. Gets the pass. Water falls down in front of the net, and it will go in. Greed able to find the buzzer beater. And now the 2-1 victory for the Barracudas will put them ahead on the Lynx going into game two.
Yeah, great start for the Barracudas. I was wondering what we were going to see basically in terms of those double commits, that team coordination. And overall, I have to say, the Barracudas, it seemed their best asset was just being able to save it so many times, because the Vipers were the Lynxes were really letting them feel the heat in that first half of the game. But overall, I think it's going to be the ability to just clean up the coordination just a little bit and be able to find clears more consistently. And the Barracuda, and if they do that, the Barracudas, I think, are unstoppable.
Yeah, and a big part of that coordination is using your teammates in those clears, kind of those meshing those two ideas together. We have to be able to not just throw the ball out every time and expect it to go onto the other end of the field. We have to make sure that, hey, if we have an opportunity, I can clear it over to my teammate who can then clear it even further, right? Using those passing plays and all three of our teammates to the best of our ability is the only way that they're going to be able to properly break out consistently, and I think that's something that both teams are going to have to think about when they go into these games with such offensively minded teams.
I also have to wonder, if I was just to see the statistics of that, what the side control was for the overall game, because it seemed in the first half pretty consistently the Lynx had it. And the Barracudas, more kind of a slow-playing team, just laying in wait for their chance to bring it to overtime, get the goal at the most important opportunity, and push themselves into a point where they're looking to close this out 3-0. They're going to have to get 2 more wins to achieve that. So we'll see if they can continue on that path in Game 2 of this best-of-5, heading back into the arena. Who is going to continue on their journey toward the championship in the final week of the Esports Tower Summer Invitational Rocket League?
Thrift takes a 50-50 at the midfield. Wilds does get a weird pass out mid over to Thrift into the blue corner. Barracudas playing some defense in the first few seconds again. Oh, a double commit from Adrift, and Thrift is unable to push anything out really. So Quez is able to take the shot downfield. Adrift off the sidewall. Maybe looking for a teammate out mid here. It does get demoed by Cran. Greed able to keep offensive pressure a little longer, but not much longer until Wilds is able to push it back into the blue end of the field. Very back and forth right now. Long clears going from each end of the field and stopping at midfield at most. Nothing able to break through defenses yet.
With about a minute having passed in this second game, no team scoring. Wilds is going to try to change that as he gets the clear up the side, but the ball gets way too much altitude to be followed up on. So Greed passes it back to Quezard off of the wall, following up the field. Crayon to keep the play going. The redirect Wilds, just a tap off to the side is going to be enough to keep the Barracudas at bay for now, but the question is for how long?
Big clear from the Lynx end. Will be stopped by Quez, pushes it back down, finds the other end of the midfield already. The Drift does respond, however. Wilds is already up for the read, but doesn't get it. Thrift has to slow play. He is third man right now, but does end up giving it away. Luckily, a Drift spawns just in time, and Greed is put all the way back into the Lynx end of the field. Quez playing it slow, looks for the play around one, does get past it, almost gets past the second one, and Cran almost able to find the angle. An open net! Oh no, a pinch out from the midfield, and the Lynx hopping on those same kind of goals we saw them jump all over in the first game today, or the first series today, where they just find these little defensive mistakes and they punish immediately.
Now Lynx with the lead again are going to be looking to open up a bigger lead than they had last game, looking to make it a 2-goal. So right now the Barracudas waiting for that one crucial equalizer, and they find the clear to get it. Greed's going to attempt it. It goes way up midfield. Enough for Adrift to pass it over to Wilds in the corner. Now they're going to make their attempt. A demo is going to stop the Lynx from trying to score that goal. Crayon moving it past, has to get it past. Thrift is unable to win that 50-50, and the ball heads straight over to the other side of the field. Barracuda still looking for a shot on goal here, and they're going to keep looking as Wilds deflects it off to the side.
Tap out from Cran. Thrift is able to keep pressure a little longer. Wilds barely beat by Quez. Lynx are having to play a little bit of defense, trying to find a hole in the midfield offense. Cran gets it under one. Wilds holds it down, but is unable to get full contact as Greed pushes it through on the low 50-50 and finds the back of the net. We are again at about a little less than halfway point of this game. A 0-0 scoreline again.
Just a little over 2 minutes left, and Wilds is going to try to make the best of that time by clearing it up the field. Actually, no, that was a risky back pass that he took that the Barracudas have capitalized on, and it's going to head toward their goal, and it's going to get cleared out by that demo brought out onto Thrift, and the ball almost just trickles into the goal, and the follow-up from Quez. The Barracudas are hungry to get back in the lead, but they are not going to find the feeding frenzy they were after quite yet. They're going to have to try just a little bit harder.
The Lynx can feel the bells of last game ringing a little bit in their ear. They have to try to find another goal before overtime starts. Otherwise, they're giving the Barracudas opportunities. They have the pressure. They just need to convert. The pass over will be stopped by Cran. Wilds has to be in the way, but ends up leaving it for his teammate Thrift, who doesn't make contact, barely blocked by a group effort from Wilds and Adrift. I don't do anything else. And the Doomsday dish off the sidewall from Quez will lead to the Barracudas' lead at 1:22. Lynx have their work cut out for them. They have to make a change now. They can't allow Quez to do that on their end.
They're going to start off by immediately demoing Greed off the kickoff. Greed has respawned. Wilds to set it up. Greed misses the save. It goes to Crayon, who's able to salvage it. Still pressure being put on, and Greed does find the save there. Now it heads over past Quezard, who's going to actually rotate up the field as Greed is looking for the clear. Pass back to Quezard in midfield. Almost a rotation up too far, but not so, because Wilds barely finding the save and keeping the Lynx in this.
Barracudas are eyeing down match point. Less than a minute left on their clock. Quez playing it slow off the wall. Thrift with a pass back to himself. Looks for the solo play. Two defenders of the Barracudas up. Here's the opportunity. The shot. It's bouncing off both crossbars, but Cran finds a way out. Passes to Quez, who takes the shot. Could be open, but Wild bounces it out barely. Greed has a shot opportunity, but the angle is just not good. Passes it off the backboard, and now Lynx have another chance. Almost got scored on again, but did almost find the back of that themselves. A pass off the wall will go wide. Wilds takes the shot, and it's high and in, and no one there for the Barracudas to respond. 16 seconds left on the clock, and there is a 2-2 scoreline. Looks like we're looking at another overtime, more than likely. Oh no, Quez! Quez! What happened? No one there. The kind of goals that the Lynx usually pounce on, they created for the Barracudas here, and now the Barracudas hold their lead once more. They only had to hold it for 16 seconds, but now the Lynx are tasked in the next 7 seconds with finding one more. The pass up is not there yet. Quez has the opportunity. A demo on Cran, and it just won't work out. The Barracudas barely find the last goal at the final hour, to say the least, and now they're at match point.
And Lynx definitely have been trying hard, but the coaches have stressed to the Lynx repeatedly that while group stage results are nice, the team needs to focus on finding ways to beat teams consistently so they can win in the bracket games later. And it seems that consistency is what's kind of evading the Lynx. They get out to that initial lead, but they can't find the way to build upon it.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was thinking about earlier when we talked about how I might think they're going to look in this series. Is a lot of the goals that the Lynx were scoring were off of some created and non-created defensive mistakes from their opposing team. And I just don't think the Barracudas are giving them a whole lot to work with right now.
Sometimes you get so focused on the goal at hand or the play that you want to make that you just realize it just slips by you the play that needs to be made right now, even if it's not your perfect play. You just got to find the one that'll do. Maybe the Lynx can't find the plays that they need. They are in the third game as the Barracudas look to close this out 3-0. Let's get into game 3 and see if the Barracudas win this.
Adrift almost finds the back of the net pretty early. Has to slow down a little bit. Quez takes a long shot towards the back of the net. I don't know if it's in. It is in. And this, again, the same kind of defensive mistakes the Lynx usually pounce on are getting punished for them right now. The Barracudas, I believe, for the first time in this series, lead in the first goal.
Yes, that is actually the first time that they have. The Lynx normally get the first goal and the Barracudas even it up, but they were to start off with a goal here that might be a good omen for the rest of the game. Lynx fumbling a little to try to find the clear. Quez goes back, gonna drive it up the field. Oh, Thrip just gets barely a tap on that. It's gonna send it off to the side, but not too much of a dent for the Barracudas. They might be able to set up a goal still. Screed is looking for Crayon, but it gets disrupted, and now the Lynx are looking back to tie this up.
Drift looking for the pass out mid, doesn't get a good touch. Thrift is up, however, a bad clear will lead to an opportunity for the Lynx. These are the kind of goals that they thrive on, creating mistakes, creating defensive mistakes. 1-1 at 4 minutes and 7 seconds left on the clock. The kickoff is completely even, and Quez takes it first, but Adrift will pop it out. Quez is up again, just a nuisance right now. Cran gets the shot, it's low, almost gets all the way past Wilds, and barely. Adrift is able to keep it out a little bit longer. Now the pressure in favor of the Lynx. Wild's looking for a play off the wall. Can't do it. Leaves it for his teammate. Thrift is in the way. Greed gets the bang downfield. However, the pressure will convert in favor of the Barracudas. But a long clear from Wild to go all the way back to the midfield. We're back to that ping-pong stage of the game where neither team can seem to get control of the midfield, but also no shots necessarily being taken. Although Cran gets the low roller but is unable to do anything else with it, so Thrift will get the clear out.
Slight tap from Wilds, answered back by Quez. Ball is high and back toward midfield. Reed to ground it back over to Crayon. Realizes he can't get the goal right there, so he's going to try to play it past two of them, leaving the, possibly open. Reed is there on the follow-up to commit toward the save. It is going to go through, but Crayon again with another follow-up. There's just been enough of some deflects from the Lynxes here and there that they're just barely able to deflect the shots off to the left and right. But with so many shots being made, the question is one going to go in eventually? Quez tries it, and Crayon is now going to leave it, I think, for Greed. But Greed was actually rotating back to get some boost. And it leaves just enough of an opening for the Lynx to get side control back.
Barracudas, however, take it away off of a bad pinch off the wall. Almost a flip reset opportunity there, but Wiles will take it back. Looks for an opportunity of his own. Isn't able to beat out Greed, who takes it off the wall. Thrift passing off the wall to Wilds, but can't do anything else with it. Maybe looks for a demo on Quez. Doesn't connect, however. Greed takes the shot, 2 defenders back, so someone will be in the way as it pushed out to the corner. Oh, weird opportunity. Drift isn't able to get the clear. Barely pushed through Adrift. Now they're getting kind of this scrappy pressure now to get across the mid-line. Barracudas have to play some defense. Wilds is up, passes it down, hits the corner thanks to Greed's efforts. Flick around 2 defenders on the Lynx will have them push back a little longer. Quez gets a banging redirect there, almost finding the top corner.
Hey, look at the differential in shots on goal. I mean, it's 9-4, and yet it's still tied because so many of these shots that the Barracudas have made have been great. They've just been a little off. Can they make another attempt at a goal? Crayon is going to knock it off toward the side. Greed is going to try to play it around Thrift. He's successful in doing that, but Adrift makes good defense, keeps the Barracudas fighting for that centering shot. Are they going to be able to find it, or are they going to be scored on right here? A demo there!
The angle is not there.
Oh, wow.
An opportunity from the Lynx, barely not able to find it, but I don't know if it was totally on them, but a bad 50-50 in front of the net will make it so the Barracudas find their lead coming into the last minute and a quarter of this series.
I think I should also say, you notice Wilds had no boost there at the end of the play, so maybe he just couldn't catch up to the ball before that goal. But overall, Barracudas now back into the lead. Just a 1-goal lead, and we really haven't seen any 2-goal leads be brought out in this particular matchup. It's been a very scrappy, very close and competitive. It heads over to the side. The Barracudas find the clear that they're looking for right now. Quest is able to take it away from Thrift. It's now up to Greed in the corner. Gets it back across midfield. Looks like a collision in midfield as well. It's going to be a demo for the Barracudas to try to salvage their plays, but it is going to deny them that clear.
Tap out from Adrift. It is high, but Quez is able to get in the way anyway. Thrift off the wall, maybe looking for a teammate. Ends up getting beat by Cran. Adrift takes the 50-50, pitches out towards the net.
Whoa.
Greed is in the way, taps it out to the corner. Perfect diffuse of the situation as it rolls around. Little bit of confusion in the midfield. I'm not sure who has possession. Thrift takes the 50-50, however, and it does work out in favor of the Lynx. They have the pressure. They only have a few more seconds to find some offense here. Thrift is beat out by Cran. This doesn't look good. Greed is just burning time. All he has to do is just get it to touch the ground. Adrift taps it up. Desperation from the Lynx now. They have to make something work, and they have to make it now, but Cran is in the way. He will put the final nail in the coffin. It will be a tight sweep, to say the least, but a sweep nonetheless in favor of the Barracudas.
Congratulations to the Barracudas for winning that 3-0. If you want to be seen by expert college recruiters, talk directly to esports industry insiders like pro athletes, team general managers, and game producers, then join the club. Esports Tower players get insider access to industry insights, and with our featured rumbles, recruiters are taking notice too. It's a great way to score your path to pro or land a collegiate scholarship. The Barracudas take down the Lynx. Next up, the Barracudas are going to have to face off against the first team we saw, the Vipers, and if the first game was any indication, it might be a long road ahead for the Vipers, but we'll just have to see how they gather their thoughts. We're going to give them a little bit of time to strategize, and we'll give you a little bit of time to take a break in between these matches. We'll be right back with Game 3 after this.
Protecting your customer journey from fraud is critical. According to industry analysts, Count's AI-driven platform is the leading solution. From account login to digital payments, Count is recognized for both its customer impact and technology excellence. Learn more at count.com.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
with NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Welcome back to this week's broadcast of the Esports Tower Rumble in Rocket League, broadcasting from the Boise State Esports Arena. The Barracudas take down the Lynx and are looking very strong in their next game against the Vipers. How it will turn out, we'll just have to see. I'm your host, Jacob Jem Palmer, still joined by Joe Tacky Chigbrow to call all of the action for you tonight. And the Barracudas definitely looking like they're the strongest team going into this match, so the Vipers could be considered the underdog, but we're actually going to have a few plays right now to kind of sum up how each of these teams have been doing tonight and overall showcase their different talents. So as we start with the Barracudas, although they might show us the Vipers first, but I'm just going to ask you the first question about the Barracudas, which is what plays have what stood out most to you from their performance so far?
From the Barracudas, honestly, I think their defense looked really tight. I was impressed by how well they worked together. There was a few situations where they were maybe on top of each other a little bit more, but a lot of those were created mistakes by the Lynx by constant pressure, as you mentioned earlier. So I was really impressed with their ability to kind of just keep calm, cool, and collected in those stressful situations, even if it didn't end up working out for them a lot of the time. That being said, you know, it's really hard to consider any team at all in Esports Towers an underdog because we have seen some crazy upsets in the past. And so I'm just excited to see what the Vipers bring to the table against this strong Barracudas team.
Yeah, overall, it looks like we actually saw the Vipers plays first off. Now these are the Barracudas play, but I think it underscores that the Vipers haven't been completely, shut out of scoring goals at all this week. They've been kind of all right in it, but the most they scored was the 3 compared to the 5 that they had in their first match against the Lynx. So the goals that they have scored were already in a game that was almost pretty well decided against them. So the Vipers have definitely been trying to improve. I'm sure between rounds they've been working on improving. Overall, it's just, is that coordination that we were talking about earlier going to finally have them? As we actually can see here, we have Masfi, Lyric, and Toasty going to be moving in for the Vipers right now. As the Barracudas still the same roster that we have. Of course, this could also be the Scorpions that we see here, because that roster does look a little unfamiliar to me. But we'll just see who is in the game once we get into it. And that is going to be happening right now just about as the Vipers go up against the Barracudas. Can the Barracudas stay a second straight title, or will win over the Vipers? Would have an excellent spot heading into the bracket stage. We'll see how they do very shortly here. So we're going to jump into Game 3 as soon as we can. So I asked you about the things that stood out from the Barracudas, but in terms of the Vipers, what do you think overall was the best thing? Actually, here we go. We're back into the game. Immediately, Zydra's going to get demoed on to Crayon, putting that first bit of pressure onto the Vipers.
A lot of bumps and demos at the midfield right now. A bit of a violent start. Again, another one. Enzo barely able to get back in time. It looks like for the Vipers, we are going to see Enzo, Toke, and Zydra again. Greed will start us off with the first goal of the series, however. It looks like he scored off of a decent passing play to himself, maybe? Or no, he just found a tight angle, and it just barely bounced in. Used a little bit of a Viper defender, it looks like.
Can't kick yourself too much in that sort of situation. You just have to recover and move on to the next play. Wes also kind of doing some flips off to the side to follow up on his own kickoff. He's just going to clear out the goal with a demo. The follow-up isn't quite there for the Barracudas, but overall, a lot of initial heat being put onto the Vipers. Can they recover under it, or are they going to fall again? We are going to see if the Barracudas can open up a lead more than one goal. because last match that they had, it was really only one team in a lead with 1 goal. They break it, and now they have 2-0.
Cran passes it off the backboard. A beautiful pass and a great response from Quez. Look at that, finding the far corner. No defender in sight, and that pushed them up to a 2-0 lead into the Vipers. Kickoff goes kind of even. Looks like the first pressure will be in favor of Greed. Nope, doesn't make contact quite yet. Toke pushes it downfield a little bit longer. Does get beat out on a 50-50. It passes it out mid, so the pressure will be converted for a little longer. Cran finds a good demo. Enzo is in the way, but can't demo Enzo either. Playing it slow, gets past one. Greed is able to play it slow, but Quez is in the way. Toke looks at the backboard pass to his team, but Cran does cut off and stay in the pressure lane. Zydra has to play it slow. Enzo off the backboard could be an opportunity, but a great pass out from Quez will lead them to have to go back to the drawing board. The pressure was on the Vipers' end for a little while there, but they turned it around.
Stolen away from the Vipers clear. Ball's going to go high in mid. Was going to head back, pick up some boost, and be able to get a tap on it, at least toward mid. Toke chasing after it, but Quez just continues the air dribble and almost scores the goal all by himself. Now rotate back from Crayon and Greed. Bit of a fumble by the Vipers, leaves it open for the Barracudas for a breakaway. They play it off the corner. What a nice redirect too. But the ball's a bit too high for the follow-up to go through, but still, more shots on goal for the Barracudas against the Vipers.
Quez playing it off in the corner, gives it to his teammate Greed, who keeps pressure on a little longer. Can't stay with it, so Enzo will play it around, but Quez does have the response. Maybe looking for a double tap. He almost finds it. A good block for the Vipers. It probably wasn't going in, but he was in the way and kept the play into a neutral state a little longer. Enzo stops the pass. Toke is in the way to get it out a little further, and Enzo passes it back out again. Quez in the way first, passes it around 2 of them. He has space. He only has to get past Zydra, but ends up getting beat in the 50-50 by Zydra. Cran with the tap down to Greed. Could be a good shot, but Enzo is in the way again. Some good defense from the Vipers. Forces them a little bit longer. Now, Quez trying to play it slow. Has to rebuild all that offensive pressure. Finds a way down 1. Finds a way past 2. And the outplay of the jukes. Ankle's broken by Quez. See here, he gets the tap around Toke, and then all he has to do is put it in the far corner away from Zydra, and Zydra barely unable to keep full contact.
Quez definitely seemed like he was the one trying to find those showy solo plays, and he finally got one for himself. Drives them up to 2 goals, and just forgetting the hat trick he might be after another one. We'll just have to see, but he's going to leave it for Crayon there. Still play as a team, leaving it for Greed for the follow-up. It's just going to be in midfield. They have to rotate back. Quez and Crayon are on it, though. Toke plays above both of them. Dangerous situation, and Greed is going to be credited with a save. Just barely a deflect, and almost a death by glory for Quez as he gets another shot on goal, even if he gets demoed for it.
Quez is up. Looks to play it around 1, is unable to play it past any of them, so has to slow it down a little bit. Zydra gets an awkward ghost touch and now has to leave it for his teammate. Cran keeps the pressure. Toke taps it out, is unable to follow, so Greed will get the first touch off that play. Zydra, off of a demo from Enzo, will be able to keep the play alive a little longer. Pass out to Enzo. It might be open. Nope, Toke is in the way. Blended it into the field there for a minute. Now Greed has to play it towards the wall. Buy a little bit of time. Maybe hand it over to Cran, who looks for the play off the wall himself. Oh, it is pitches out into the corner. No dice for the Barracuda on that play.
Half a minute left, and with 3 goals needing to be scored, the Barracudas most likely are going to be getting another win. One last push from the Vipers as they demo Greed. Greed is back on the field. Quez to set it up. Gets the hat trick he was looking for.
What a nasty double touch area. You see off the pass from Crayon, taps it up. Leaves it for his teammate. Quez comes in, taps it up a little longer, and gets the read himself just under Toke. No one in sight, and he finds the back of the net. Pretty good shot all around. 4 goals, 16 seconds left on the shot on the board now. And if you're the Vipers, you got to think about the next game.
There's only 10 seconds left in this particular one. Now 5, and it just needs to hit the ground, and Barracudas look to not necessarily be losing any of the momentum they had beforeward. They are continuing to move on in this tournament. Like an annoying fly that won't go away, they keep on punching shots on goal toward the Vipers, and it pays off for them. I mean, look at the shots on goal. It's all in their favor.
Look at the accolades. None to the Vipers team. Not that they, threw it and tossed it out or anything like that, but the pressure was exclusively in favor of the Barracudas. It's kind of wild.
I mean, mainly because this final overlay that we see here kind of gets rid of like the demos or the bicycle kicks and just shows like the shots on goal and the goals themselves. So there it looked like, completely in favor of the Barracudas. And what do you think overall is the differential between the two teams, the main differential that's leading the Barracudas to be so dominant?
Honestly, a lot of the goals that were scored there weren't necessarily from mistakes. There were a few mistakes, obviously. There's always something you can do better, but there were some really impressive mechanical displays for both teams. But I think the Barracudas did a really good job of using their speed and their mechanical adaptability to find the back of the net. You saw that in the double touch, and a lot of double touch attempts, actually. There were 3 double touch attempts. 2 almost made it in. 1 definitely made it in. And I think at the end of the day, what it's going to come down to is the Vipers just have to get proactive on their defense, not just getting the ball out when it's headed towards their net, but also making sure they're cutting it down before it becomes a shot.
Crayon's going to start things off, but it doesn't get credit with a shot on goal. The Vipers still in a familiar position, and that's trying to find a clear. Zydra to elevate up against Crayon and Quezard, who double commit on it at the same time. Does that open up anything for the Vipers? It just well might, but that follow-up just a bit too slow to be scored. The Barracudas finding just what they need here, maybe to get it clear.
Enzo playing off the wall, maybe to a teammate. Doesn't get a great touch, so he will get beat out by Quez. Plays it downfield. Has a little bit of time. Looks like no one is in the corner to meet him, and now he plays it off the wall. Oh, a miss from the defense. Oh, the Barracudas had an opportunity there. And the Vipers just barely weren't able to be in the way. A bang downfield. It is wide. Quez has a little bit of space. Might leave it for Greed. Nope, passes it himself. Maybe looks for one more touch. Does beat one defender, and now Greed is up. Gets the tap off the backboard. No response from the Vipers. The 50-50 will barely spill out, and Cran just has to slow the play down now. Not a great spot to put it. Toke almost takes the shot, but barely Quez is able to be in the way. The pressure is in favor of the Vipers right now. They've been doing a really good job of making sure the Barracudas actually have to defend their half of the net.
They basically flipped the tables from what we saw in the first game, but it hasn't resulted in them taking the lead quite yet. As Quez, with a beautiful play up the field, is going to demo, leaving it for Greed to continue dribbling it up. Quez now trying to find the follow-up. Is going to be credited with a shot on goal, and that's all he's going to have to settle for right now.
Okay, pass one. Quez is barely able to get in the way again. This is the second time this game where Quez has made the last-ditch effort save for his team and kept them in a 0-0 scoreline. Vipers are definitely looking scary on the offensive end. Crayon takes a shot of his own. Enzo passes it up towards the wall. Greed in the way. The 50-50 out to Crayon. Could be a shot. No, it's just a little wide. Greed is there to pass it back again. Over one. Enzo has to play it slow, play it back to himself. Puts it back into the corner. Greed barely unable to make contact. A little bit of a mishap here in the corner of the orange end. Crayon is able to win out, however, and keep pressure a little longer in order to pass it over to Greed.
50-50 in favor of Quez slightly. Enough so it doesn't get cleared. Greed answers it back to make sure it doesn't get cleared. Quez with the surprise shot! First goal.
Just not that great of a clear from the orange end. Just passes it off the back wall. And Quez is there to take the strong shot into the far corner. You have to work together on those clears. You have to shut down those shots before they've even gotten the opportunity to take them. Barracudas hop on and get their first goal of this game.
Crayon looked like he was leaving it for somebody, but overall the play isn't going to materialize. Goes back to Quez, playing it off the wall. Toke beats it. Greed to answer back, but the Vipers going back to what we saw in the initial stages, which is a lot of initial pressure and shots on goal.
Yeah, the Vipers looking pretty good right now. They're not necessarily in the lead, but they do have a lot of pressure, and they've had a lot of opportunities barely thwarted by Quez. We'll have to see if they can turn that into anything, but no, another opportunity A great pass into Quez. Cran setting him all up. A demo, and then Cran passing off the backboard. Nobody quite there. 2-0 lead now for the Barracudas again. Kickoff.
Gonna have to be less than a minute for Vipers to find each of those goals. Greed up to Zydra. Locks it and plays it around Crayon. Greed hanging back on front post. And a bit of a bump there. It looks like the Vipers were trying to clear out the goal, but were they focused a little bit too much on that goal, because Greed with a surprise shot on goal puts them on the back foot again.
Cran passes it up to Greed, puts it into the orange corner. Zydra is the only thing in his way. He does tap it out. Quez looks for the 50-50, doesn't win, but it does spill out to Cran. Takes the shot. Quez passes it out. Greed is in the way. He does find the beat. We're still playing the game into the orange corner. Pass out to Cran. Does find the shot, but it's just a little bit wide. But the pass is there. Quez finding his second hat trick, and I believe 2 games now. Quez just showing us why such an oppressive predator on his offensive end.
Well, he's one of the longest played players in Esports Tower. Has been with the program since the very beginning. He's going to be graduating soon. So, but he is kind of the senior talent, as it were, and it is showing in droves for the Barracudas. It's almost another shot toward the Vipers' goal gets scored on. They're going to follow up again. It's off the backboard. They're just going to leave it for now. And with about 30 seconds left, I would say, you know, they don't have to get too aggressive. Just let the timer be their best friend and get their second win.
Certainly playing time is a strategy for the Barracudas right now, but some more goals wouldn't hurt them either. Enzo looking to change his fate, however, but is unable to do anything else. Cran plays it off the corner, maybe looking for a flick. Does get beat on the 50-50. There's an opportunity, and Quez is barely able to keep it out a little longer. Playing it back to himself. Quez has had the ball on his own for maybe 5 seconds before he passes it over to Greed, who takes another shot, and it is just in there. There's no defenders. Hard to tell from that angle what happened, but the good play all around. Quez keeps it to himself. Gets, a good flick around one. There's just no one else left to respond, and it will just fly in. Good effort from Quez and the Barracudas, and that will lead them to a second victory at match point by the end of this game.
There's only really going to be time for one more kickoff and not really any plays after that. As soon as that ball hits the ground, Barracudas get their second win and move on to match point.
Oh, man, look at the total shot differential. 11% now in favor of the Vipers, but it's only, that 11% is one shot. They barely got their one shot. Felt like they had a lot more pressure than maybe that one shot, just maybe not quite able to take the quality goal opportunities that the Barracudas were getting.
Well, the goal that the Barracudas have for this last group stage was lofty. They wanted to get the first seed going into the bracket stage, and they're well on their way to doing that. But no matter how good the Barracudas are performing, the main thing that the coaches want the players to remind all 3 of the players on the Barracudas of throughout this whole tournament is focus on the solid fundamentals.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree. And right now, I'd say they're doing a pretty good job of that. I don't remember seeing a whole lot of double commits or triple commits or anything like that. It looks pretty solid. Looks like they're working together for the most part. It's impressive Rocket League. But Vipers are doing a lot better than I think we've seen them in other games. They've definitely kept the pressure, even if the scoreline doesn't necessarily reflect that yet.
Rayon to answer back the initial volley.
Oh, a little bit of some configuration issues in the beginning here for the Barracudas, but they're not punished for it quite yet. Cran gets a good tap up. Greed looking for a touch too. Almost finds a way under Toge. Quez plays it off the corner, looks for another touch. It's cleared out. Playing it slow, so Cran has a little bit of time, but ends up leaving it for Greed. Greed gets a nice pop over one defender and is now able to play it slow a little bit. Cran, gets the shot. This is free. Enzo has to find the back of the net, and he does. A good double touch, but honestly, an open net.
my fault. Well, you know, you celebrate the victories you can get.
For sure. It's good to see the positive vibes from both teams still this late into this group stage, as the kickoff will go pretty even, but in favor of Greed, who will just push down a little bit further. Every time that this kickoff goes kind of even. I feel like I'm saying Greed's name immediately after. He's done a great job of keeping pressure. Now Greed, Tassa playing a little defense, however, does do a good job of keeping it out. Quez, pass off the backboard. Oh, it is read by Enzo.
Wow.
Enzo is determined to play this series out a little bit longer. Extends the lead to 2 goals. Look at that fantastic power shot off the wall. Greed unable to get in the way. And now 2-0 lead for the Vipers. I feel like this might be the first time today they've led.
Yeah, I don't think they've necessarily led in these games thus far, let alone by more than 1 goal. They're going to have to settle for a 1-goal lead now as Greed evens things up.
Greed looking to clear up his mistake from the last 10 seconds, and a great pass from Cran will help him do that. 2-1 lead for the Vipers. They definitely don't have to be too worried yet, but they have to continue to play this strong offense and defense if they want to keep the Barracudas from their sweep.
Side tap from Quez. Stopped by Enzo in mid. Crayon picking up the pieces. Around the corner. Re-demoed though, so the follow-up probably not going to be available. Quez also fumbling a bit as the ball just has a lot of altitude right now, so it's hard to line up that shot.
Pass out mid. Toke will take it. Just ends up hitting it away from himself. A free ball for Quez to do whatever he wants with. Does give it away to Greed. A little bit of a weird 50-50. Greed takes it to the corner, beats one. Quez has space. He passes it. It's high. There's no shot in sight, but still they're in the way. Oh, the pass down pinch almost worked out for the Barracudas. Quez has an opportunity here. He pitches it out towards the net. Enzo is able to clear it out. Tran just has to buy time and taps it into the corner. Enzo is there, but Quez does get a bad touch, and Enzo almost finds another goal, but Cran is in the way again. Toke playing it slow, but Greed does get the shot. Zydra barely keeps it out. It manages to hit both crossbars before it finally gives up and says, all right, I'm coming out now. Quez taps it towards the wall, playing it slow, bangs it off, and it kind of just dissipates in the midfield.
Enzo trying to get the save. He's going to get one, but the follow-ups are so unrelenting from the Barracudas that all 3 of the Vipers just charge forward in the save. It's going to buy them some time, but one of them's going to get demoed. And to make it 2, so it's all Toke. And now on to 3. All 3 of them got demoed. That's technically, is that a Rocket League ace? I almost might count it as one.
I think the closest you have to that is once you get your 5th demo, it gives you an Executioner accolade, but not really sure if we have aces in Rocket League. We're going to call it that for now, though. The hat trick of demos. A little bit of a fight in the orange corner. Looks like the Vipers will find their way out. Nope, Quez does get a good 50-50, and it'll spill out to Cran, who gets another good 50-50. Oh, and the shot is there. Toke caught a little bit off guard. 2 pinches, to say the least, are pretty hard to read, but just not quite in the right spot to respond to it anyway, and it will fly over him, and Quez will take the shot, reading it perfectly. It will put us at that 0-0 scoreline that we have also missed.
Still plenty of time for either team to make their move. Quez is just going to wait on the ground for that one. Now to elevate up. As midfield gets the double tap on the dribble. It's just off to the left.
Enzo looking to outplay. Does get the demo. An opportunity here, and it will go in. The Vipers have found their way in to the blue net. And it is a demo, and it is named Enzo, leading the pack on goals for this game. 3 goals, his hat trick.
And he actually has 4 demos right now, so that Executioner badge that you were talking, we see so little. It's actually within the realm of possibility for Enzo. We might actually see it be brought out. I'll be tracking to see when that happens.
He almost found it right there against, I believe it was Quez, but doesn't quite get it. Quez plays it slow, taps it up for Greed. Greed taps it back over to the orange defenders, and they don't do a whole lot of, they give it over to Cran, who has time, pushes it off the wall. Quez just gives it back to Toke, looks for a play of his own. A good pass out to Cran, this could be it. Yes, it is. Look at this power shot off the back wall. A perfect 90-degree pass over to Cran, who takes a banging shot into the far corner. An excellent passing play. This is what I was talking about. The Barracudas, when they're in their zone, they really like to use their mechanics, and they really like to use their passing to make opportunities happen.
Kickoff pretty even for both teams, except Crayon was waiting to cheat it out. It's going to be too high for a goal, however. Quez to move in, let it waterfall down, almost gets the tap to push it in.
That was almost one of the craziest flip resets I've ever seen, but it's not quite there. Zydra can't find the angle. Quez, big pop out here, creates a ton of space. Toke has to play it slow. Cran, pass it off the backboard. Quez wants the read, he gets the bump instead. Green almost finds the shot. Cran taps it out. Toke passes it away, but Quez just has all the time in the world. No one even on him off the backboard touch. And now he just plays it over to Cran. A little bit of a slow play in the midfield. Neither team wants to give up too much space. They're feeling very nervous. They don't want to give up that buzzer beater goal. Just play it slow. Don't give any opportunities. Maybe just looking to play it down here. Yep, the Barracudas are looking to force an overtime. They want to start over. Give us that kickoff again. Kickoff does go in favor of Quez. However, it looks like Enzo will beat him out just because of side control. Plays it down. Cran does find a way past one, and Greed is able to push it out a little bit further. Zydra just tries to dissipate the play in the corner. Great start, but Quez does find a good 50-50 that goes out to Cran. Cran, kind of a low shot, takes it slow. Greed finds a great 50-50, and so Cran will pass it back over to Greed. Quez with a shot, and he will find it. The sweep for the Barracudas will put them firmly into one of the most terrifying teams in this group stage. But well fought, to say the least, especially by Enzo.
And Enzo doesn't even get the Executioner's badge to carry home. So
we were all waiting
sad all
so
around.
patiently.
We were hoping. I was just hoping he would have gotten my vote if he had gotten that, because we see it so little. But overall, Barracudas closes out 3-0 in the match overall. But kudos to the Vipers for making that last round as close as it was. Well, if you want to be seen by expert college recruiters talk directly to esports industry insiders like pro athletes, team general managers, and game producers, then you should join the club. Esports Tower players get insider access to industry insights, and with our featured rumbles, recruiters are taking notice too. Great way to score exposure if you're looking to start your path to pro or land a collegiate scholarship. Well, the Barracudas take down the Vipers, and up next is going to be our final game of the night with the Lynx and Scorpions facing off. So one final group stage match to make sure everyone's gotten a match against each other, and then we'll see next week how they have placed in the overall bracket. So stay tuned. We'll be back with the conclusion of the Esports Tower Summer Invitational Round 4 group stages after this.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Protecting your customer journey from fraud is critical. According to industry analysts, Count's AI-driven platform is the leading solution. From account login to digital payments, Count is recognized for both its customer impact and technology excellence. Learn more at count.com.
Do you know what he means? Do you know what he means?
Welcome to the final match of the Esports Tower in Rocket League. The Rocket League Rumble for tonight. We are down to our final group stage, which is going to be the Barracudas taking down the Vipers. And we're going to see, well, the Barracudas took down the Vipers, excuse me. Now, the other two teams, the Lynx and Scorpions, are facing off. It's been a long night, but we are about to wrap it all up. I'm your host, Jacob Jim Palmer, joined by Joe Tacky Chigbrow to call all of the action for this final game. So now we get to see the two other players, the Barracudas, outed for the night. It looks like they have achieved their goal of getting top seed. So who is going to be picking up the scraps to get second or maybe third seed? I mean, the big question is who's avoiding fourth seed. You do not want to go up against the Barracudas first thing in the bracketed stage.
No, absolutely not. I think, honestly, at this point, man, this is going to be a really interesting game, to say the least. We've got a really offensive team from the Lynx and an equally offensive team in the Scorpions. I'm really excited to see where it ends up, but honestly, I'm not really even sure. It's going to be close.
We can take a look at the lineups and what everything is going to be. And it's the first time we're actually seeing the Scorpions, if I am not mistaken. You mentioned Gababy at the very start here. We're going to see him finally in the fourth game, along with Nano and Protato, making their debuts for the Scorpions, where it's our old friends Thrift, Drift, and Wilds for the Lynxes.
Yeah, Gababy, Nano, and Protato are all kind of, I want to say, young guns of Esports Tower. They've been here for a little while now, but they're exceptionally known for their really high-level play of Rocket League. They've got a really offensive team put together, really focus on those passing plays. I'm interested to see if they can turn that into defense as well.
Well, no matter how much one is confident in their own abilities, they can always use a bit more advice from Doc's keys to the game in Rocket League. That's to create mistakes, punish overcommits, play off the walls better, and demo to disrupt the other team. Doc's Keys to the Game brought to us by Esports Tower. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, and improve your performance under pressure. You'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. So we're ready to head into the final game of the night. Scorpions versus Lynx. Who is going to get the final win and, most importantly, avoid that dreaded fourth seed? We are about to find out right now, so let's head into the kickoff of Game 1 to see who is going to start off with a bang.
First glance, Scorpions are the ones playing defense. They are playing it a little bit slow, waiting to create a mistake here. Gababy gets the pinch off the wall. It will go all the way over and just completely change the side that they play on. Potato passing off the wall. Nano is not quite able to make contact, so Potato will go again and does find an upper decker shot. Sets it up for himself, does find the back of the net, and will lead the Scorpions. The Scorpions will lead against the Lynx in the first 20 seconds of the game.
As we move on a little bit in this match, half a minute has passed, and no shot on goal is going to be brought out of that one. Instead, Potato is left chasing it back. Probably going to leave it for now. Actually, no, he's going to leave it with pretty slow speed, allowing a Drift to pick it up. Can there be a recovery? Gababy gets a nice shot, a nice clear to turn into a shot on goal. But overall, Scorpions hanging on to their one-goal lead.
Gababy barely able to keep it out. Help from Nano. Will push it up the wall. Maybe he makes a play of his own. A tap down. Potato was up, but doesn't quite make contact. And now a Drift. Playing it off the wall. Maybe back to Wilds. Looks like they're playing a little bit of offense in their own end just to keep it out a little longer. Thrift. Playing it slow, tries to beat up Nano, but can't do it. The play is still in the corner. Drift finally gets his way around it, but still stopped by Potato. Plenty of space left in the bucket for Lynx to go, and they just can't quite get it. Nano bang downfield. We'll get past one. They have a little bit of time. Thrift is going to play it off the wall, and Potato is there. Taps it up. No one is there to respond, so Wild instead will keep the pressure on a little longer. Drift slows it down. Potato gets the touch. It's open. Potato will score 2 goals for the Scorpions in the first minute and 40 seconds of this game.
Next kickoff in favor of Gababy before he gets demoed. Wilds answers it back quickly. Gonna chase the ball up the field. Drift passes it back to Thrift on the wall. Heads back to mid, but Gababy steals it away and gets the goal off of that. Someone shut this guy down.
Gababy now finds his own goal, a 3-0 lead for the Scorpions. The Lynx have quite their work cut out for them, but they can do it. Potato keeping pressure, looking for that 4th goal, and Nano is able to keep it a little longer, but not in a meaningful way. Oh no, is no one there? Oh, 3 players committed to the offensive play will mean that a loss results in a goal. The Lynx find their first goal in their needed comeback series here.
Nano grounds it to Gababy, who gets demoed right after he gets his tap. Another demo brought on to Potato this time. Lynx definitely getting a bit chippy, and a shot on goal denied by Potato. The Lynx want to try to tie this up.
Nano looking for a slow play off the wall, maybe looking for a pass. Gets it around Wild, but only so Gababy can pass it as well. Potato playing it down back to himself, plays it back under one. No one there, so Nano will play it slow, just giving a little bit of time for Gababy to get back into the play. Does go all the way around Gababy, not looking great right now. Potato does keep it in a little bit longer. That 3rd man paying dividends for the Scorpions right now. Slow playing it in his own corner, looks to flick past one, does get the flick. It is dangerous still though. Thrift is in the way. Nano plays it back towards his corner, has a little bit of space, does get beat out by Wild. It's a high 50 actually.
Drift flies past the ball. Wilds gets a tap on it. It's way back over to the far corner. Nano unable to really make a play materialize there. Left up to Potato. Drift goes flying past it. Wilds is one who finally makes solid contact with the ball, but an answer back by Gababy is going to deny that. Ball flies way back over to the far side of the field. Lynx still trying to find their second, might have it here, and they do that indeed.
A missed challenge from the Scorpions, and no one back. The 3rd end will lead to the Lynx. Slowly creeping in on that 3-goal advantage that the Scorpions have had. A little bit of miscommunication. Gababy is up. Unable to make any contact with it from Thrift, however, so it will just end up rolling out. Potato keeps it out a little bit longer. Someone has to be there to respond, otherwise it's a shot. A Drift takes the shot. Potato keeps it out a little longer. Wild's keeping all the pressure on, takes the shot down, and Potato getting, I believe, his 3rd clear in that one play. It's taking it out a little bit longer. A bump on could be an opportunity, but Thrift is going for the flipper set, so it just won't work out. Oh, and the pitch out from Gababy will mean that we finally cross the other end of the field. The Scorpions breathe a sigh of relief. They only have to hold their lead for 1 more minute, and Potato is unable to keep it down a little bit longer. Thrift bangs it off the sidewall. Nano gets the tap, but it's over Gababy. Gababy has to rotate back. Potato is there, however, and keeps it in the play a little longer. Nano taps it down. Potato tries to put it in, but can't quite do it. Gababy has to play it back to himself or to a teammate, and is unable to do it any further. 50-50 will roll up the wall, and the pressure just subsides a little bit for the Scorpions. And a demo. Oh, another demo and bumps all over the places against the Scorpions defense that will put the Lynx back into that 0-0 scoreline with 20 seconds left on the clock. Not a whole lot of time.
Can they do it before we head into overtime? Wilds is going to be left chasing after that one. Shot way past and toward the goal. Deflected by Gababy. Back to Potato. Centered, and it's just a little bit too fast for Nano to get it there. It's a Drift now dribbling at mid-air. Trying to waterfall it down, but a quick redirect off of their own backboard is going to pay off and allow this to go into overtime.
Do or die situation. Gababy would like to lead, but ends up just giving it over to Wilds. Looks for the air triple. Loses it out to the corner. A little bit of time. A whiff from the Lynx. An opportunity. Gababy barely clears it out from a clear off the sidewall. Nano now has time. Pushes it out a little bit further. A drift. Powerful touch into the sidewall. Potato has a little bit of time. Barely doesn't make contact. Oh, and a tap from Nano. Gababy has time now. just a lot of sketchy situations in front of the net right now. Scorpions playing a little defense, Adrift, or Wild barely getting past one. Play off the wall, pass down mid, Thrift barely doesn't make contact, Rotato gets the clear out, Baby transfers the play to the blue end of the field.
Less than a minute has passed in overtime, but it might be just enough for the Lynx to get the goal. They muscled that in there, basically dragging it across the goal line to get their victory. What a comeback for the Lynx, especially since they were down 3 goals.
Yeah, it looked like in the early parts of that game that the Scorpions were kind of all over it, but as those mistakes began to clean up for the Lynx, it became a much bigger beast to slay than the Scorpions thought.
Yeah, so now as the Scorpions move forward, and they definitely kind of got a few goals right off the bat at the beginning there. It seems like a few of those goals were just very quick off the kickoff. And once the Lynx just got down to it and started getting used to the normal gameplay and normal flow of everything, then everything started to go back in their favor.
Oh, yeah, 100%. It feels like the Scorpions were relying too heavily maybe on mistakes that were kind of just given to them. And so far, they need to do a better job of using those passing plays, using those opportunities that having 3 players on the field gives you.
Along with the Barracudas, the Scorpions are a team that isn't necessarily used to losing that much, but they had a hiccup last week in the bracket stage, failed to make the grand finals. So they're looking to recover after that week and this early victory that the Lynx have.
Baby gets it off the wall, gets it around 1. Nano is there, but Potato cuts it anyway. Wilds takes the shot towards the backboard. Nano barely able to get it out. Double commit from the Scorpions. Adrift hits it off the wall. Good to Demo, and Thrift has it open. Rotato's barely able to get the touch. Wild's looking for a slow play off the wall now. Kind of just buying time, looking for another air dribble. They seem to really like these air dribbles, and he does find it. No one in the way. Scorpions kind of just let that one float on in.
Considering now there was no one in the way, I can see why they'd be comfortable with it. Rift is going to be able to answer that initial volley. Fresh off the boost, it was going to pass it over to the other corner. Nano beats him to it, and a lot of pressure being put on. Thrift again with a clutch save. Wilds waits in midfield to just kind of deaden that, and he gets played around by Potato.
A little bit of a defensive mistake from the Scorpion, or from the Lynx, will put the Scorpions in that 1-1 scoreline once again. 4 minutes left on the clock. Pressure hasn't converted quite yet. Thrift gets a good shot towards the backboard. Nano able to clear it out. Passes it back himself. Maybe makes a flick, but is beat out by a drift. Potato is up and in the way. He puts it in the back corner. Gababy's already there to follow it up. Passes it off the wall. Wilds up to pass it off to the other side of the wall, looking for a double touch of his own, and pinches it towards the orange corner. Gababy pushes it out. Potato's in the way. Not able to do much else with it as it spills out to the other corner. Nano bangs it off the ceiling. It doesn't go anywhere else. So Wilds looks for the shot. Adrift playing for it backwards. Unable to do anything else. A pinch goes towards the Lynx net, but it is blocked by Thrift. Solid third man in the right position, and now Nano unable to make contact. Has to leave it for Potato.
Almost drops down into the goal. Quick thinking by the Lynx diffuses that situation. Tapped by Nano, double tap. Over to Potato, Thrift to interfere with that. The baby now looks like he's going to try to play off the breakaway, and Wilds isn't able to defend against that one.
Those are the kind of plays that we see a lot out of the Scorpions. You can see the give and go. Passes it back, who passes it forward, who then passes it back mid, and they find the goal off of that touch. Great play from the Scorpions, but now they have to play some defense. Lynx aren't willing to give up quite yet. Nano playing it towards the wall, looking for the air dribble. Nope, gets beat out by a drift. Kababy has to be the one to play for it next. It is beat out by Thrift. It is played into the middle of the field, but Potato is able to keep it out a little longer. Wilds gets the tap out. It is just to Kababy. He can look for the flick here or the outplay. He ends up going for the strong 50-50. He taps it over the Nano. A last-ditch effort save from a drift will keep it out. And now the pressure is still on for the Scorpions. Potato barely doesn't make contact, but Baby is there. He gets it past the one defender, and Drift has to play it in his own corner. Nano beats it out. Drift looks for the 50-50, doesn't get that great of a touch. It could spill out to Baby. No one hits it for Lynx, but they do end up getting the clear anyway. A little bit of an outplay by misplay there by the Lynx.
Bounce off the wall, sets it up for Wilds. doesn't find what... Well, okay, you know what? If they get the goal in the end, I'm not going to complain too much. They found a way to make it work.
The Lings are creating offensive opportunities abundantly right now by playing aggressive in the Scorpions' defensive end. They're making sure that they're finding all sorts of demos and bumps. Pass over could be another opportunity. Barely saved at the last moment by Scorpions defense. Nano has to make a play of his own. Flicks it over one. Does get past one. Thrift does get past the low 50-50. Adrift passes it into the corner. A battle of the corner right now. Wilds looks for the shot and does find it. Nano is not quite in the way. Kind of floating there. And it will lead to the Lynx finally leading into this game. Looking for match point with 1:30 left on the clock.
One extra insurance goal would probably be the margin that they need to take this away. Drift is going to search for it. Leaves it for Thrift. It's off to Nano and Gababy. Oh, a bad bounce there. Almost scores the goal on themselves.
Gababy passes it way out, a long clear. Nano is able to beat Adrift though, so they keep pressure. Gababy does get past the second. Looks for an opportunity. The Doomsy dish off the sidewall. This is a great play. Passes it to himself off of a redirect from the top of his car and then takes the shot from the sidewall. Now the Scorpions are back to 3-3, we're back to 0-0. Nano barely able to keep it out at the last moment. Nano has been the king of making saves in the sketchiest possible ways this game, but it worked. And it just doesn't quite end up working. At the end of the day, the Lynx find another bump play and find the back of the net super early.
I like that because it was Wildzo's defending on that last Scorpions goal, but he found a way to make up for it. So always great to see those redemption arcs play out in real time. Drift with control of the ball, trying to leave it for Adrift. Ball just going to bounce up and down in front of the Scorpions goal. Enough time for them to push it off to the side. Drift tries to play around Potato. Adrift is able to get it. Drift tries to take Gababy out of the equation, but Gababy plays around him, but unable to find the clear. Uh-oh.
Working together a little bit on the Scorpions end, a double commit to get it out. Oh, Potato gets past one, could have an opportunity. Wild barely taps it out. Gababy has to play it around one. He does. He plays it around two, but it's just not quite shootable. It's way too fast, way too unpredictable. Potato looks for the tap off the wall. Nano gets the tap down, but it isn't able to put it in. The negative angle is too difficult. Gababy taps it up. Potato's there. Puts in the block. Nano now has to block a little bit more, but isn't able to do it productively. And the ball will drop with a one-goal game in favor of the Lynx, putting them at match point. A really hard-fought game, to say the least. It didn't feel like a blowout in either direction. I believe 4-3 is the scoreline we ended with last game as well.
Well, if you want an example of just how high stakes this is for the Lynx, if there is one team that the Lynx want to beat this time, the coaches say that it is the Scorpions. Because these two teams in particular, over this summer invitational, this whole summer, a rivalry has formed between them. And so with these teams having faced off against each other before, made it to the finals before, the Lynx think they finally have found a way to take down what in a lot of people were thinking was the favorite team at the beginning of this match. But now they are at match point to shut out the Scorpions completely. Will they be able to do it? Will all that training have finally paid off? Let's find out as we get into the third game of this best of five. Lynx lead 2-0. Can they be undefeated? Can they make it to the grand finals? Let's find out right now as we head out of the garage and on to the playfield.
If I had to guess what that secret sauce that the Lynx have figured out for the Scorpions, it would be demos. They've been playing so much demo and bump play in the net of the Scorpions end right now, just making them having to think twice over and over again about what they're going to do and how slow they can play it on the defensive end.
Bit of a hairy situation there to start things off for the Lynx. Wild's unable to clear. He's going to be trying to find it around this corner. Plays it under Gababy. Goes back toward Thrift, and another save.
Potato off the backboard, an opportunity here, but no one quite able to do anything with it. Nano is able to keep pressure, and that's about it. Gababy passes it out mid. Looks like Potato's choosing to slow play it. Looks for a play past one, but can't quite get the flick properly. Nano has to play time a little bit. Stalls with Thrift. No one quite there. The demo onto the last man will create an opportunity. Wilds can shoot it back down to Nano, who isn't able to make contact anyway and takes the shot. Gababy barely in the way. Adrift takes yet another shot towards the backboard, barely saved by Potato as it bounced. You could see the ball was desperately trying to end up in a bar down situation, but isn't able to do it. Nano taps it out. Potato passes it up. Thrift gets the touch over.
Off to the side, Gababy. His midair dribble is thwarted by the Lynx. Still looking to get at least one goal, but it remains scoreless tie a minute and a half into the match. Rip with a nice shot. It's just a bit too high and gets pushed quite forcefully off to the side by the Scorpions. It's a nice play by them. But is it enough to thwart just the constant pelting that the Lynx are placing onto them? Looks like that might be the case here. Can the Lynx rotate back fast enough to defend? Rip, yes, he is able to do that.
Gababy just playing the midfield. Wilds taps it out, trying to get that pressure now. Potato unable to make contact, so Gababy cuts in the way. Adrift gets another pass out mid, looking for a teammate, but Potato is again in the way. Thrift taps it away. Gababy towards the wall. Thrift just playing it a little slow, trying to beat out Thrift here. Has to play it in a shadow defense position. Nano looking for the play around by himself. Gets past one, gets past two. Has a little bit of time, but no boost. Gababy has to take it. He does. Potato playing in the way, waiting for Thrift to take his shot and give up possession. He does, and now it's Gababy's turn. Plays it towards the wall. Nano and Gababy both going for this ball. Now, tap out. Gababy keeps it to himself. Potato taps back down. Gababy cuts in anyway, takes the ball. Thrift towards the back wall. Playing it back. Gababy kind of has to rotate back and wait for the shot, and he does a good job and passes it back out mid, but Wilds is in the way. Wilds has the double read here. He can't quite get it. Would have been a crazy shot from that angle. Thrift gets the shot. No one back from the Scorpions. It bounced out into the midfield and no one quite there, so the goal will go in favor of the Lynx, leading them towards their victory.
So 2 minutes left. Victory is far from assured from the Lynx if they're going up against as explosive a team as the Scorpions. Potato's looking to make the play above Thrift. Plays it around him, gives it to Gababy. Further moving up the field, now with Nano. Wilds gets, Wilds unable to find the tap he needs there. Ooh, shot wide. Double commit. When we double committed on casting that as well. So double commits all around. Hey, Thrift, nice goal.
Yeah, bad double commit at the midfield from both the casters and the players will lead to a second goal for the Lynx.
Goals get scored when double commits happen, whether it's on the desk here or on the play field. Thrift finding a second goal, and now looking for his third, finds a hat trick like it was nothing.
I believe that was another double commit on the backboard by the Scorpions, and now they're put in a position to the exact opposite position that they were in the first game, where now they're down by 3. They have the work cut out for them, but they have a whole lot less time. A pass over will not be able to connect with Potato's shot, and it will be wide. The pinch off of Nano and Gababy will also be wide. Nano taps it against the wall, plays it slow, looks for the hit around one, does find the open net, but he doesn't find the accuracy to find it either. Potato taps it towards the back wall, can't do anything else. Adrift keeps it out, plays it back to himself, taps it up, gives it to Wilds, who does have the shot. He does end up just hitting it up, however, and doesn't get that great of an angle. Potato plays it out mid. Nano looking for the shot, doesn't connect at all, and Gababy has to rotate back. The pressure is dead. Wilds taps it back up. Potato taps it back down, up and down and up and down, and finally, Gababy will find their first goal for the Scorpions in this game with only 43 seconds left. We've seen crazier comebacks in Esports Towers, but the Scorpions, have to make history in this moment right now in order to get back into this series.
Bit of defense from the Lynx. They would love to just burn off this time, not on the side of the field. Can they do that as they try to get it clear? Might just barely be able to do so there, but Potato is able to play it around Wilds. Now it's up to Thrift to stop. He gets demoed. Lucky for the Lynx, the shot is wide enough that it buys a whole bunch of time for them. And now with the redirect toward the goal here, they could just end it here with another goal. They almost do that. It bounces off the post, but nonetheless, it's enough time bought for them that they ultimately secure the victory against their rivals, the team they wanted to beat the most, and they have found the victory. Great job by the Lynx to win that 3-0 against the Scorpions. You want to be seen by expert college recruiters? Talk directly to esports industry insiders like pro athletes, team general managers, and game producers? Then join the club. Esports Tower players get insider access to industry insights, and with our featured rumbles, recruiters are taking notice too. It's a great way to score exposure if you're looking to start your path to pro or land a collegiate scholarship. So now's about the time where we make our predictions for the ICCU Player of the Game, and there are a lot of great contenders for it right now. I would think Thrift, maybe? I think they're going to give us an initial slate of 3 that we can choose from.
Yeah, I think, honestly, it's really hard to tell with Thrift and Adrift and that team as a whole. They all seem to work kind of together on a lot of the plays. I don't feel like there was a lot of pop-out moments for just one specific player. It kind of depends. But definitely, calling back to the previous games, I'm going to be really surprised if Quez isn't on that slate. I mean, he had 2 hat tricks in 2 games. He's got to be on there at least a little bit, right?
Well, we'll see if that is the case. So we get to see our nominees be brought forward. Player of the game could either be the veteran that we know as Quez, so you called that right, Tacky.
And well-deserved if he does get it.
See his play here, just back from midfield, gets the double tap, plays it himself, and a hat trick onto that. But, of course, Wild's not to be counted out either. Had a very explosive matchup when they were going up against the Vipers, and also just great plays against the Scorpions match that we just saw.
Wild is an offensive behemoth. You can see this shot here. What a great read into the top corner of the net. That is a fantastic shot. And yeah, honestly, I had Enzo in the back of my mind the whole time. I thought about it too. That one game from him, even though they didn't pull it out right at the end, he played spectacularly. He found every opportunity that was given to him, plus some, and found some amazing shots. You can see this outplay here. He just goes for the demo and the touch in. And yeah, I don't know.
Well, you have to make a decision, so you make one and I'll make one.
Well, I think I'm gonna have to go with Quez.
Okay, I'll go with Enzo. I'm gonna go with kind of the out there prediction, you know, and just see, because yeah, he definitely played his heart out trying to get the Vipers back into a victory. So we'll see if he is rewarded for his efforts. Who has been chosen of the player of the game? It is gonna be Quez. You called it.
Yeah, have to hand it to Quez. Every single player on that slate definitely deserved at least some recognition. They played spectacularly today, but Quez, come on, man. 2 hat tricks in 2 games. That was a crazy pop-off and a crazy double tap, and I believe that second game for your hat trick. Just an amazing performance from Quez today. Really excited to see what the Barracudas bring to the table next week.
What do you think this is, Tacky? ESPN? You're bringing out the come on man already. We need to have our own segment for esports. That'd be fun. Production, that's an idea for you. A non-copyright infringing version of it, though, please. Quez is your ICCU Player of the Game, brought to you by Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes a team more successful, just like Idaho Central's helping members achieve financial success. Quez is your ICCU Player of the Game. Well, as we prepare to close out this match, Tacky, do you have any final takeaways?
Defense this week. The teams that held it together on the defensive end were the teams that ran through all the way to the end. Really impressive Rocket League from all 4 teams.
Well, congratulations to all of the teams for this exciting night in our round 4 group stage. All of the teams had fantastic performances in the bracket stage, and it should be a thriller to see who is crowned the final champion of the Summer Invitational. We'll close out with the top 5 plays of the game, brought to you by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. More than 10 jobs offering a $20,000 bonus and your degree of choice paid for. Idaho Army National Guard is one of the best teams to join out there. Reach out to them on Twitch at iGuard Gaming. That's going to do it for us tonight, so enjoy your top 5 plays.
Barracuda is the first goal of the series.
There was so much consistent pressure on toward the Barracudas that it seemed like it was only a matter of time, as they just weren't. Just only a matter of time before one went in, but right now Greed and Quezard are going to push it up the field. Quez leaving it to Crayon, finds the equalizing shot very quickly.
Greed is able to push it out a little bit further. Sidra just tries to dissipate the play in the corner. Great start, but Quez does find a good 50-50. It goes out to Cran. Cran, kind of a low shot, takes it slow. Greed finds a great 50-50, and so Cran will pass it back over to Greed. West with a shot, and he will find it. The sweep for the Bears.
That last goal, every time they've been scored, it's been them rotating a little bit too far up the field. The Vipers can't get too confident about that because they've also let a few goals in that way. So overall positioning on the field looks like it could be the major improvement for both teams.
Aggressive midfield positioning seems to be the nail in the coffin. Pass down mid, Thrift barely does make contact. Rotato gets the clear out. Good baby transfers the play to the blue end of the field.
Less than a minute has passed in overtime, but it might be just enough for the Lynx to get the goal. They muscled that in there. So double commits all around. Hey, Thrift, nice goal.
Yeah, bad double commit at the midfield from both casters and the players will lead to a second goal for the Lynx.
Goals get scored when double commits happen, whether it's on the desk here or on the play field. Thrift finding a second goal, and now looking for his third. Finds a hat trick like it was nothing.